Okay, so here's the dummy motor sitting in the engine compartment. Tight fit, but not too bad. Not sure exactly what's going to happen with the exhaust. It looks to me like I'm going to be okay. Just they'll be under those covers, and so there'll be a bit more room for them under there. So I've just got to keep testing them on here and making sure that I've got enough room. They of course have to go into some sort of Y piece and dump into here, but I'm actually thinking of running that straight out of the bottom. Oh God, you can't see it all. My finger in the way. Running it out of the bottom of here and up, so I've got more room. There really isn't much on this side to sort of foul on, so I mean the starter motor's right here, but back here there's nothing. Yeah, so effectively, well, on this side we'll go back and across and dump straight down, and that one this one will probably tee into it at the top. So, and then meet up down the bottom there. So I'll get rid of those corroded old things and make a stainless one. Bolt on. The sump's on there, and there's plenty of room. There's an absolute fucking heap of room. Actually, it's like 4 inches. So there's plenty all the way around. So that's good in a way. Yes. What else? Height's good. Plenty of height in front of the cover. I think I'm going to be able to use the same cover. As far as the water cooling system, there's a lot of stuff obviously that hangs off the front of the motor here, but it's all going to fit. I may have some problems, but I doubt it. I think the water pump is going to fit in here, probably with about a centimetre to spare, but I can unbolt that and actually try it because it only bolts onto here, so I may do that just to have a look. But I won't do that until I've got the back mounts actually fitted. The dog's giving me a hand. Yeah. So all I did was take my dummy motor and put my adapter plate and the it's so hard to film back here. My adapter plate and the rear mount on it. And I don't know if you can, yeah, well there's the rear mounting bolts. I haven't got any bolts in them yet. Once I put those in and start levelling things, we'll know where everything's got to sit. Alright, I'm going to edit this into the other piece. Here's my, there's one of the finished engine mounts. It's a bit hard to see what's going on there, but they bolt it because everything's black, but they bolt into the motor there with 3 12mm bolts. Here's my oil cooler. There's the sender for the oil pressure gauge. It's on there. That's obviously the sender for the ECM, and which has been unlocked. And this the cooler is running out of the heater circuit on the motor, so that'll be clean water cooled. Basically, they'll have coolant and not seawater. So all I need for that is a couple of clamps, and it's pretty much complete. That's good, and like I say, all the mounts are made. I mocked it up, made the mounts that fit onto the sort of stringers in the engine compartment, the beams running back, and then mocked them up, secured them, and then started making these, and it worked out pretty good actually. It worked out really good. What I did was I put it all in position on the dummy motor, which is still hanging out in the frame, and just tacked everything, and then bolted it off and fully welded it. And it's got gussets everywhere, and I'm running along the. You can't really see them very well, but yeah, there's a lot of gusseting. And so the engine mounts are done. The engine mounts are made both ways, so both of the parts of the engine mounts are made. The oil cooler is done, and it's going to fit in the oil filter. I bought a strainer and a So I bought a strainer for the raw water, which is like a plastic arrangement, like a big plastic bowl thing with a lid on it, that with a basket in it that catches all the weed and whatever else, plastic bags and shit. So, and so far that's about it. I mean, all I've been doing is basically trying to sort out the lube system and getting it all to work. Obviously made this adapter. You can buy them, but I really didn't want to wait. I wanted to finish that job today, so I did that today. And made, yeah, it all fit together really well, actually. Once you've got a few NPT taps, you can do, and dies, you can do a fair bit of work like that. You can do a lot of that sort of thing. I still need to pull this off and cut this corner off it so that this has got a freer. It's not a very good routing. I'll get it to route right around the outside of that. Yeah, because I don't think there's a hell of a lot of room outboard of this pump. So it could even be that we need to run them in a different way, possibly in front or something like that. I don't know. And this one behind, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get it on there. Or it might just stuff in there and work. So it was always going to be a bit of a shoehorn job getting it in there, so I just got to pull the other. I guess they're stainless bolts, brand new stainless bolts for the engine mounts. I just got to pull the other one off and bolt it on here, and then while the dummy motor's sitting in there, actually, I'm going to do all the measurements that I need for the exhausts to what size they need to be, because there isn't a hell of a lot of room on one, especially on this side. On the, I suppose if you like, on the left-hand side of the motor, there isn't a hell of a lot. I'm hot. At last we've made a start on the exhausts. Just give me an idea of what we've got. Okay, so we've got a stub coming out of a 10mm plate that's cut the same shape as a exhaust gasket, but with 38mm holes, because the exhaust gasket's got square holes. So I made that mistake the first time. Yeah, 38mm holes, 38mm pipe, so 1.5 inch or however you want to do it. But so the holes I got done with 38.1, and yeah, I've been able to seal them up. Don't look too closely at the welds, even though I'm showing them to you. I'm not a welder, I'm a mechanic, so. So there's my first chamber, all sealed up. The 3 go into this. Now, I made these too big. I cut them in a semicircle and then bent them. So basically what's going to happen is these are going to be cut somewhere around there and have a pipe. I'm not sure what size. I've got to go and check the size on a car, see what size pipe they have coming out of them. Generally it's pretty small. I think it's only about 1.75 or 1.7 or something. So about 40mm either side. And I'll plate all this in, and then I'll make my water jacket on the outside of that. Now it doesn't look like I've got a lot of room for the water jacket, but it doesn't particularly have to be a hell of a lot of room, as long as there's water flowing through it. And I think I'll be able to do it. I'll be able to pull this back away slightly and get something in there that's pretty good, I think. And I'm going to be, what I'll do is I'll make something very similar to this, but slightly wider, cut it in half, weld half on, weld the other half on, and have it come up over the top of all this. But I've got to construct all of this part of it on both sides, and basically have them airtight or watertight before I put anything else on, and then put the other thing on and make that watertight as well. So yeah, so that's that. But yeah, so this is the dummy motor, obviously, you know, and obviously this is going to be cut down so that it misses all the intake. You can see the intake there is right on it. But I only did this exercise because it was a lot easier to cut them in a semicircle and then bend them. I've got a very primitive Yeah, that's my bender. You literally just feed the plate in one side. I usually draw a line and line it up. Then you put it in the press. It just comes down and just squishes, and it'll go past 90 degrees. It's actually pretty good. But when you've got something tight like that to do in it, like two bends right next to each other, it's a bit tricky, but it works. You can still do it. Well, I have. So yeah, progress of a sort. But yeah, and also I've over here I've been through the whole wiring harness and thinned out all the stuff. Hang on a minute, I'll show you because it's something to see. All that stuff was pulled out of the harness. That's all the transmission controller, the fan controllers, loads of stuff to vehicle anti-theft stuff, and all the stuff that you don't need anymore. Air conditioner, pressure transducers and things like that. And what we've ended up with is this basically, which is all labelled, and I know what I've got to do with it. So I only got to run 3 relays: a fuel pump relay, an EFI relay, and a start relay, and that's it. I don't have any other use for any other relays. I know this just looks like a mess, but I understand exactly what I got to do. So just looking for a little box to mount the ECM in, which is there. A little watertight box, and I'll cut it to take this connector, which is a waterproof connector, and I'll seal all the wiring up after that. Probably in that flex stuff, I've got a heap of that left over, so from the original harness, or I'll go and buy some more. It's not expensive. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I can't think of anything else. No progress on the fuel tank yet. I haven't even pulled the floor out, so it'll probably be next time. Yeah, basically spent the whole of today cutting, welding and grinding, and yeah, other than that, I mean, I do have to go and get some pipe, some 316 pipe, the right size. I've got some other bigger pipe here that'll probably do the other jobs that I want to do, but I don't have anything for the actual exhaust outlet, so I'll have to go and chase something down. But all the welds are 316, the plate's 316, the pipe's 316, so shouldn't have any corrosion problems. All I've got to do is basically weld it up so it's nice and solid, and it's proved fairly difficult so far, but I'm not I'm happy with what I've done. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any leaks, so I'm more concerned about leaks on the seams once I seal those boxes up. But I mean, you know, I've got a grinder, just grind it back and weld it again. All right, see ya.